I welcome you guys back into my course 192. You understand that no matter what, you need to understand that this topic is about how to love it. I need you to understand that in order for yourself to love everything in life, you understand what life is first. You understand that life is about positivity. You understand that life is about something greatness. You understand? I mean, something greatness is something right now. You understand? Because guess what? When you fail in your words, guess what? There is no failure because something great in life is how to love it. You understand? Because guess what? To love it, you need to be a person who is foundational in yourself first. You have to understand to love it is something great. You understand? Because to have something great, you need to love it. You need to love greatness. You need to love something beautiful and more beautiful than yourself. You understand? Because that way you will be more beautiful. You understand? You'll be more beautiful when you love something more beautiful. You will cherish what's beautiful in life. You'll go there, you'll be that type of person, you'll be led by those people, you understand? Because it's about attitude is everything in terms of something great. You understand? Because when you're a great person, you understand greatness. You understand? You'll be that type of person who can love it. You understand? Because to love life is to be in front of people and do it. You understand? You're going to do it every single day. You're going to do something foundational, you understand? Because that way you'll be a foundation of something that's growing. You understand? You'll never be a mediocre person. You'll be something beyond average because that way you'll learn how to love it. You understand? You learn how to love it every single day when you're positive, when you're doing something much better than yesterday. You understand that is the way to go. You understand something inspiring today. You understand that something inspiring today is something magnificent. You understand that something incredible is something astonishing and magnificent in life. You'll be that type of person who can love it that way. You have to understand that when you're loving it, you'll be that person who can love more. You have to understand when you're loving more, you'll love it that way. You understand? Because to love it that way, you have to understand you'll be that person who can be more, you'll see more, you'll do more. You understand? Because those people can love it. They love life. They love enthusiasm. They love to be charismatic. They love empathy and leadership and something positive. They love to be around kids that are positive, you understand? Because when there's a kid that's really negative, I realize that nobody loves negativity in life, you understand? So make sure that you be around positive kids and teach them to be positive because guess what? We're all babies. I'm a baby, you understand? I'm still that baby that I came into the world as, you understand? I'm just better than that, you understand? I'm better than that baby because guess what? I'm reborn again. I'm smarter, I'm looking better, I'm feeling better, I'm doing everything better because that's why I love it. I love my life, you understand? I love what I do. I do it for free. I do it every single day. I show up. I make sure I'm successful every single day. I make sure I'm doing something better than yesterday. I make sure no matter what, I practice and practice and practice. And each time I do tens and thousands, and I promise you, when I do tens and thousands of hours of video work, such as I'm doing today, you'll understand that no matter what, I'll be something better in life. I will make sure that I grow myself when other people call me a person who is not inspirational because guess what? I'm an inspiration in my life. You understand? So make sure that you're an inspiration in your life because that's how to love it. You understand? You have to love your life. You have to love inspiration. You have to love something great in you. You have to understand that you have greatness. You have something in you that can be great. You just have to make sure you're planting it and you have to make sure that no matter what, you have it right now. You just have to water it every single day. You have to be doing it for free every single day. I love to do what I do because guess what? I do it for free. I never do it for money. You understand? When it's for money, it's a chore. I realize that you have to make money. You get worried about money. You have to understand you never get worried about money. You do it for free and you'll never be worried about money. You understand? Because when you're doing it for free, you always find the free way. I promise you the free way is the best way. You understand? Because it's always better to have free Wi-Fi than to give money for it. You understand? So make sure you go the free way. You be that type of person who loves for free. You understand? When you're getting the best information on the planet, I promise you it's much better to get it for free than to give money for it. You understand? So make sure you're doing it for free. I promise you that way you'll be an inspiration. You understand? You'll be an inspiration who does it for free. You're doing your life for free. You're doing something of value. You're doing something that's really going to help people. You're doing something that's really going to increase your vibrancy. And what is that? I promise you, freedom will lift you. You understand? Because those people who are free are people who can will themselves in themselves to make sure that no matter what, they do it in terms of life about what they're passionate about and about what they are doing. You understand? Because that's what's going to lead you into the freedom path. I realize that in my life, I look ahead, I see freedom there. I see freedom. I'll just follow the free road. I realize that the free road will get me there. You understand? Because when I'm free, I promise you that's all you ever need. I promise you when you look at money and how much you need to make, I promise you someone will make more money than you. You understand? I promise you although you can always have freedom. You understand? You can always have freedom. I promise you freedom will make you feel better than money ever will. You understand? So make sure I realize that you make sure you're a person who can understand something great in life. I need you to understand that it's you. I need you to understand you are greatness. I need you to understand that when you learn to love yourself, you will learn how to love it. You understand? You'll learn how to loving yourself. So be that type of person who can love it every single day in terms of life, because when you're loving life, you also understand enthusiasm. You also understand something that's ridiculously the better way, which is the better way. You understand? Because when you're a ridiculous person, you must be a ridiculous person in the better way. You understand? Because you have to be understood in life. You have to understand that no matter what, you go and get your message across in a way that you understand that other people can understand you. You understand that no matter what, you need to communicate more and more daily, because that way you'll be an enthusiast. You'll be a person who loves enthusiasm. You'll be a person who can really study something. You'll learn to love studying. You'll learn to love everything, because loving life is the gift and foundation that you have today. You have to understand that you can do it each and every single day. You can do anything you set your mind to when you learn how to love it more. You have to understand, when you learn how to love it more, you'll learn how to have more in life. You'll learn what you need to do every single day to make sure that you're more successful. You have to understand that each and every day you're more successful. I promise you that the ones around you are more jealous of you. You have to understand that one. You have to understand that no matter what, you go lift yourself anyway. You understand? You go the lone road. You have to understand that I have to go the lone road to make sure that I increase my legacy, because nobody else will. You understand? I have to make sure that I make a name for myself too. You have to understand. I promise you, if they can do it, I can do it. You understand? I promise you, no matter what, you be that person who can do it for yourself, because guess what? Nobody else will do it for you. You have to learn how to love it alone also. You have to understand that alone is a gift. You have to understand you're born alone, you live alone, you also make sure that you're doing anything alone. You understand? Make sure you do it. I realize to make sure you're doing it alone, because that way you understand to build some confidence that way. You have to understand, when you're around people who are holding your hand, I promise you they'll never build your confidence. I promise you when you're alone though, I promise you that's how you be independent. I promise you that's how you be interdependent. I promise you that's how you travel the world. I promise you your mother and father are never going to travel with you. You have to understand, you need to be a person who understands that you need to be alone, because that is how you love it in life. You understand? You love to be alone. You love to have yourself in life, because that way you'll understand that all you have in life is yourself. You have to understand that all you ever need in life is yourself. I need something greater anyway. You have to understand, you need something greater and more than yourself in life. You understand? Because that way, you understand you'll be something more. You'll be something more because you look up and you understand that's where you need to be. You need to be loving it in terms of life. You need to be going upwards. You need to be able to inspire in life. You never look down, you be up in life. You go up. You have an up day today. You never have a down day today. You understand? You go be a person who understands that. You understand? Because those people who really realize life are the ones who are loving life more. I promise you, when you're loving life more, you'll understand how to do life more. I promise you, you'll be more in life. I promise you'll be the person who is a being. I promise you, a being is living in the moment. I promise you, the being is really giving everything of themselves. I promise you, they're really showing their heart. I promise you, you show your heart more in daily life. I promise you, that is how to love life. I promise you, those people who understand how to love life are the ones who are really foundational in what they're doing. I promise you, they're self-reflective. I promise you, they've got something to say. You need to be that type of person. You need to be that type of person who's got something to say. You say every single day. You make sure that you understand that life is to be lived now. You have to understand that when you're living life now, you'll always be free. You understand? You'll be free because you're never worried about money. You understand? Because this moment shall set you free. You have to understand, you look at the freedom aspects of life, and where is the free road? Because that is the road of financial freedom. You understand? You go that way. You go that way because you deserve it. You deserve freedom. You just have to set the sail. You have to set the sail, as Jim Rohn says. You understand? So make sure no matter what, you set the sail for freedom. You understand? So make sure you be that type of person who understands to love freedom and to love life and to love yourself and to love everybody the more and more every single day. Because the more you love them, the more you can do it. You understand? I promise you, the more you speak, I promise you, the more you can do it. I promise you, the more you live life, I promise you, you can do anything when you're living life more. You understand? You be that person who understands that whatever you're doing today, you can do more of it. You just have to understand that it's really go do the positive aspects of life. You have to understand that you're smart enough to understand what positive is, and you just go and do that, and you make sure you discipline yourself, and you get the material, which is the wisdom that you need in order to do so. You have to understand that most of the world is unaware of how to lift themselves. You have to understand that it is called dependence, you understand? Because when you can lift other people, you will be interdependent. I promise you, most people can be independent in life, although 1% of the world can be interdependent and lead people, you understand? I need you to be one of those people, because that's called excellence. You understand? You have to be an excellent person. You have to be better than excellent. You have to be a person who's really integrity. You have to live your talk. You have to understand you need to love more in daily life. You need to give more. You need to receive more. You need to realize you're never taking anything. You're just giving in life. You're just a rich person. You're just that type of person who can't do it in life. You understand? Because you're never a person who's watching entertainment, because entertainment will never get you anywhere. You have to understand that when you're always entertaining yourself, I realize that you're never growing. I never realize. I make sure I always realize more. You understand? Because when you're realizing more, you'll be more aware, and that's how to love it. I mean, when you're loving it, you understand that you can be free. You can be a person who is foundational in your work. You understand that you're building your legacy, you're doing something amazing, you've got something to say, you're focusing on yourself, you're making sure that when your rain's outside, I promise you, no matter what, you're still doing your work. You understand? You're doing your work no matter what. I promise you, no excuses in life. I need you to understand you never blame people. I need you to understand you never complain. I need you to understand you never fix the outside world's problems. You go and fix your own problems, which are the solutions. You have to understand that solutions are never problems. You need to go and find more solutions to solve problems. You understand? Because that's the only way. You have to understand, I sometimes muck up in my communication, although I lift you anyway. You understand? Because I have to lift myself. I promise you, if I devalue you, I promise you, I didn't devalue myself. So you have to understand that you is I is you. You is I. You understand? Because guess what? In Russia, they say, I is you is me, I is you. You have to understand, you realize that when I lift you, I'm also lifting myself. You have to realize that I've got nothing against you. You have to understand that you be a person who's got nothing against yourself either. I promise you that's going to be lifting. I promise you that's going to be inspirational. I promise you that if you're around people who are hurting themselves, I never need you to be there, because that way you'll never love it. I need you to understand, to love it in terms of life, you have to understand you go and be someone greater than you are. You be someone really foundational. You be someone who can speak. You be someone who can communicate. You be someone who can lift the crowd. You understand? Because that way you'll understand that the power of the microphone, and when you use it, you can abuse it in a better way. And I promise you, you'll lift people. You'll lift people in a better way, because you're abusing it in a better way, which means you're doing it better. You have to understand. You just go and abuse what's better in a way that you're doing it. You're doing better work. You understand? You're never abusing in terms of negativity. You're abusing in terms that you're positive about it. You understand? You be that type of person who is really the best in life. You call yourself the best. I realized that when they asked Cristiano Ronaldo, who is the best in the world? I realized he said, I'm the best. I'm the best. You have to be the best too in your life. You understand? You have to be the best. I realize that just because they say that Tony Robbins is the best life coach on the planet, I say I'm the best life coach on the planet. You understand? Because guess what? I have to be the best in my life. You understand? Because you have to be the best to be with the best. You understand? You have to be the best of the best, and you have to realize to be the best of the best. You understand? You have to be the best of the best, because that's personal development. You need more personal development in your life, and you go read those books, because any book will get you there. You understand? Because any book will understand to teach you something. You need more wisdom. You need more grace. You need more of everything in life. So the more you have, the richer you are. I promise you, everything you ever have is your communication skills. I promise you, the better your communication skills, the better you are. I promise you, the richer you are. I promise you, you will lift. I promise you, you'll do everything. I promise you, communication skills will help you grace everything much better. You understand? So be that kind of person who understands when you're gracing something greater in terms of what's out there. You have to understand that God is greater and God is you. You have to understand you are God, you just do better. You understand? I realize that I can never define God. I don't even know what God is. I realize that God is just a word. You just go be God in life. You have to understand, you got to be a mystery. You got to be something greater, because that's how to love it. I realize that to be invincible is to be everything much more. You understand? You be invincible. You be unshakable. You be water, as Bruce Lee says. You understand? Because you can understand the ocean goes around the rock. You go around the problems too. You understand? Because you have to be water. You understand? I promise you, the water never gets shaken by anything. I promise you, water can wipe everything away. You understand? Because guess what? It's never about wiping everything away. I promise you, it's just about being unshakable in life. I promise you, you can never shake the water. I promise you, hit the water. I promise you, you'll never be damaged. You understand? You be that kind of person. You be water in life. You understand? Because that way you understand grace. You understand what life is. You understand the meaning of life is grow. I need you to learn your skills. I need you to learn how to grow every day. I need you to learn how to do better every single day. You need to motivate yourself. You need to do something foundational every single day. You understand? I mean, foundational in the way that you're growing. You understand? You grow in a foundational way where you're lifting others. You're lifting others in a way where you're writing more, you're doing more audio work, you're doing more video work, you're doing something to help yourself. You understand? You're doing something to support yourself to grow. I promise you that for me, it means being on the street and in front of people. I mean, you have to be in front of people eventually. You have to understand that when you're in front of people, you will grow yourself. You understand that you will do life much better. You do life, you speak, you relax, you understand that you grow while you relax. You just never relax, you just grow while you relax. You understand? You have fun while you grow. You never just have fun. I promise you many people are living for the weekends. I promise you many people have got nothing to do. I need you to go and have something to do because I always have something to do. I always plan my life. I always plan what I need to do in life. I have to plan it. I have to write it down. I promise you most people never have a journal. I have a journal. I write 30,000 words every single day about myself. You understand? That's why I'm so confident. You have to understand, you go and be that type of person who can write your story down every single day because nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to understand, you go and be that person who can lift others because that way you will learn how to love it. You'll learn how to be an attention. You'll learn how to really be a graceful person who's never a disgrace. You understand? Because disgraceful people are degrading. You never have to be degrading. You never go downwards, you go upwards. You understand? You never look down, you look up. You understand? You make sure that you go upwards. You make sure that you ride the roller coaster just upward. You understand? I promise you that the roller coaster is never going up and down. I promise you, just going up. You understand? You're just going up because life is just up. You understand? So learn to be an upbeat person. I promise you, you learn how to really lift yourself and get up all the time. I realize I need you to get up all the time. I need you to realize that every single day you wake up with inspiration. You wake up with positivity. You wake up with a schedule. You understand what you're going to do all day in every single minute. I promise you that way you have a schedule and you'll be more successful than the ones who don't know what to do today. I don't know what to do today, although I have a schedule about it. You understand? You have to understand you need a schedule. You need something to grow. You need something to grow you. You need something to grow in terms of life. You need to go read books. You need to go and understand what growing is. You have to go and read the meanings of every word in the dictionary because that's going to build your public speaking skills. You understand that that makes common sense. So you need synonyms and you need antonyms and you need everything in life that's more. I promise you that anything that's negative is less. I need you to understand that you do more with less. You understand? Although you understand that doing more with less means that you're doing much greater work. You understand? You're doing something greater, much easier, in a way that you're more effective. You're never living an easy life, you're living a more effective life. You understand? Because you're more tougher on yourself than anybody else. I mean, in order for Dwayne The Rock Johnson to have that schedule of his, I promise you, he has to be tough on himself to look good. You have to look excellent and you have to look better. You understand? You have to have a smarter mind. You have to realize that smartness is key. You have to realize that those people who have smartness in life are going to really emulate much better. You understand? You emulate something greater than you. I promise you there's something greater than you in life. I promise you there's something greater than me in life. I promise you I work for the common greater of good in life. You understand? So be that type of person who is really that aspect of life where you can learn to love it in a way that you're doing better than yesterday, because that way you'll learn what love is. You'll learn what foundation is. You'll learn that when you I promise you, when you critic others, you're just lifting them. You understand? You're never criticizing them for how they are. You're just lifting the way they are. You understand? Because the way they are must be lifted. And when you're lifted, I promise you that's what's cherished. You understand? I promise you when you lift people, I promise you when you lift people, you'll be cherished for that. You understand? You'll be cherished by yourself, because when you're a person who's cherishing yourself, I promise you that's self-love. And those people who self-love themselves every single day have self-discipline and have self-awareness and they have self-evaluation techniques to write in a journal every single day and plan it. I mean, they're constructive. I mean, they're people who have constructive criticism and realize that constructive criticism will be that you're growing. You understand? You grow in a way that you understand that you're growing people through lifting them only. You have to understand you never criticize, you just lift. You understand? You be that type of person who is constructive in life. You're always a constructive person that's growing. You understand? Because that way you have a planning schedule. You have a plan, you have a schedule, you can do it, you can do something amazing, you've got something good to say, you say only good, you only speak good in life. I promise you that way you'll be standing for good. I promise you that when you're a person who can lift, I promise you can do anything. I promise you that way you'll learn to love much more. You understand? You'll learn to love something greater. You never love just anything. You just go love what's much better. You understand? You go love something that's really great. You learn to learn why you speak. I promise you, while you speak, you're really doing it. You're applying the information, because guess what? Each and every time you're doing it a different way. I promise you, it's better. I promise you, you get better than yesterday. I promise you, do something amazing. You're doing something incredible. You're doing something from the inside. I mean, you're just getting on with it. I mean, you're getting on with life in the way you're growing. I promise you that way you will inspire the crowd. I promise you will inspire the crowd when you love it. I mean, you have to love it first. You have to love your life first to live it. You understand? So make sure you learn to love yourself much more, and that way you'll be more. I promise you that way you'll do more. I promise you that way you'll go around the world more. You understand? You'll be that type of person. I have no girlfriend. I have no need for a girlfriend. You understand? Because guess what? I'm growing. You understand? I've need for more status and fame. You understand? Because guess what? I'm inspiring more people. You understand? Because when you inspire more people, you deserve. I promise you deserve to lift people. You deserve to promote yourself in a way that you learn to love it too. You understand? Because when you learn to love everything that's much better, I promise you, you'll become much better. You understand? So make sure that you're that type of person. You can do it. You'll understand that you'll get rejected by many people. I promise you, everybody else will reject you except for you. I promise you, unless you're rejecting yourself, I promise you that you never reject yourself and you never go where rejection is. I promise you, let people come to you. I promise you, that's the best way. You understand? Because when you go to them, I promise you, you become desperate. You understand? So make sure that no matter what, you go to the people who are smarter than the people around you. I promise you, those people will teach you something, though. You understand? You be a student. I promise you, you never be a know-it-all, because when you're a know-it-all, you're a person who is negative. I promise you, I never need you to be a negative. I need you to be a person who never knows anything, because I know nothing, because that's how I love it. I love to learn more. I love to grow more, because I leave room for improvement. I leave 100% of room for improvement. You understand? I just leave room for improvement. I love that type of vibe. I love to be that type of person. I love to be a person who can grow. I love to be a person who can learn to love it much greater than I am. Because when I learn more, I'm always more in everything I am. You understand? I always will myself in will I am, because the will is I am right now. You understand? I am right now to lead you to be greatness. You understand? Because you deserve to be great. I find greatness inside. I find greatness inside of me. I promise you that I have to demand it. I have to really be that. Because guess what? When I'm greatness, I'll also make you greatness. You understand? I make great people in life. Because guess what? If you cannot communicate like me, you have to better yourself. You understand? So be that type of person who can better yourself. I mean, if you are not on the street doing street performance right now, I mean, you have to better yourself. I promise you, no matter what, you be that type of person who can lift. Because guess what? I today am doing much more than my mentors. You understand? Because I get tens of thousands of people watching me daily as I public speak for 3 hours every single day. You understand? Because they're doing it online. I mean, they're doing it online on YouTube. I'm doing it in front of people. You understand? I have more views in terms of life, in terms of people in real life. I mean, more people in real life are watching me than my mentors. You understand? Because guess what? The coronavirus is going on around the world. I'm lifting people. You understand? I've got Toastmasters International over here. You understand? So guess what? You be that type of person who understands that when you're lifting people, you will also understand what leadership is. You understand? Because guess what? To go and learn is to be confident and courageous, and that's how you love it in life. You love it in a better way. You love it in a way that you're confident and courageous, which is contentment. To understand that when you're content, you will be someone enthusiastic. You'll be someone who's far greater than everybody else. You need to be that type of person. You need to be a person who understands that when you have a New York Times bestseller, I promise you that is just 100 people bought your book. You understand what New York Times bestseller means? You understand? So be a person who understands that it's never about being a best-selling book. I realize that you just be the best anyway. You understand? You never need a book to title you as the best in life. You just learn to love your life anyway. You understand? You be a person who understands that a best-selling book will never get you there. You understand? You need to write more books than a best-selling book. You understand? Because guess what? It's about writing more. I realize it's about doing more. I realize it's about growing more. You have to understand that you will always be the best when you believe yourself the best. You understand? You have to believe all the best in order to be the best. So to be the best, you have to learn to love it right now. You have to learn to do it right now. You have to learn to be great right now. Because when you learn it, you will do it. And when you do it, you'll be the one doing street performance. And guess what? You'll be in front of people. You understand? I mean, when you're in front of people, you can lift them. You can do something amazing. I mean, you can do something really foundational. And you're promoting your Instagram. You understand? Because that way, you understand that you find yourself just in one place, and that way, you have 300 million followers on Instagram. You understand? And then you expand. You expand widely. You extend yourself in a way that you extend your reality. You understand? When you extend your reality, you're living in this moment, you're conscious, you're really vibing, you're really doing something amazing, you're really doing something foundational in the way you're growing, because that way you will learn what love is. You'll learn that to love life is to learn to love life much more. You understand? You have to learn to grow. You have to understand that love is growing. You have to understand that those people who grow, I promise you those people have lemon trees. I promise you that those people who never grow have dead trees. I don't need you to have dead trees in life. I need you to understand you go and give your lemons to everybody, because guess what? You're rich. You have something rich to say. You're a person rich. And richness is key to life. I promise you those people who are rich, you go around them because they have better mindsets, and mindset is key to everything. I promise you, when you learn to love it, you'll learn to be a better mindset. You'll learn to do something foundational. You learn that life is right now, and those people who learn the moments, I promise you, can be the moments and can do anything in the moment. I promise you that life is never daydreaming about doing street performance. I realize it's just go and do it right now. I realize if you cannot do it, I promise you, you have to improve. You have to improve then. I promise you that way you understand how confident I am. You have to understand that you be a confident person. You be on the street also doing street performance and promote yourself too. You understand? You be that type of person because you can do it. I can do it. You understand? I promise you Nick Vujicic, who has no limbs, can do it. You understand? You be that person who can do it. You much more greater. You understand? I promise you, no matter what, be a greatness person. I need you to be a person who can really promote yourself. You promote yourself, you realize that you're worth it, you're worth lifting people, you're worth to do much greater in life. So make sure you can do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes for me to succeed. I have to be here for the next 73 years, doing these videos 3 hours a day for the next 73 years. I promise you, I'll be lifting people and promoting myself for the next 73 years on the street for 3 hours every single day. I promise you, that's what success means to me in terms of something greater. You understand? So make sure that you understand that you need to succeed and you'll do whatever it takes. You understand? I need to do it every single day. I have to make sure I stay consistent. I have to make sure I stay disciplined, because that way I can succeed. I make sure that no matter what, you understand that when you're learning throughout life, you'll do something incredible. I promise you, when you have to go toilet while you're giving a speech, I promise you, give a speech and then you go toilet. You understand? You discipline yourself to go and give more, and then you can go to the toilet. You understand? You have to understand that you go and do what's important. You go and do something amazing today. I promise you, that's kind. I promise you, kindness is everything. I promise you, those people who are kind can really lift. I promise you, they're brave. I promise you, they've got courage. You understand? I promise you, they're the ones who are really lifting. I promise you, they're the ones who can really say what's going on and really do it. I promise you, that's called integrity. I promise you, you need to be a person, you're always really encouraging people to grow, because that way you will grow. You understand? Because that way a leader encourages people to do better. You have to understand, you need to do better. You have to lift people. You have to be a motivational speaker. You have to do something greater than what I am today. You have to realize you can be greater than me. You can be greater than Jesus. You understand? So be that type of person who can be just greater than yourself, because that's the whole point of life. Promise you, the competition of life is just compete with yourself. You never I realize you're never copying fines. You're never doing anything illegal. You're never doing anything that's drugs in life, because that way you'll understand that you'll love life better. You understand? You love life better when you're never doing drugs. You understand? So make sure to learn how to love it much better than yesterday, because that way you'll be a person who has more passion. You'll be a person who has more charisma. You have more of everything going on that's much better than yesterday. You understand? Because when you're better than yesterday, you always learn the momentum is going up, and it's compound interest. I realize that compound interest, as Albert Einstein says, is the most powerful in the universe. You understand? So when you're growing, it's so powerful. I promise you, it's so powerful to grow. I promise you, you need to be that type of person who's learning how to grow every single day, because you need to be more mature. Otherwise, you'll be 60 years of age and immature. You understand? I never need you to be that type of person. Understand? You're going to do something that's mature today, that's really going to increase your EQ skills. I promise you, EQ is called emotional quotient. You understand? You need to boost your EI, which is emotional intelligence. You understand? Because that is a peak performer. I realize that no matter what, I'm using my emotions here, I feel great every single day because I'm a vegan. You understand? I realize that meat eaters will never understand what a vegan is, because guess what? I understand what meat is. I ate meat for 26 years. You understand? I turned vegan. I realize that I feel better than a meat eater. You understand? I realize that it's a courage to do so. I realize it's a courage to turn a vegan. You understand? I realize that I realize it's a courageous act to turn as a vegan and to turn into a vegan. You understand? So you have to learn the information. I realize that I always have to be changing my approach every single day to make sure that I can do something much more incredible. You understand? Because if I do the same thing twice, I realize that I'm not listening to anybody such as Albert Einstein. When I'm listening to Albert Einstein, you have to understand that when you do the same thing twice, you're never listening to Albert Einstein. I realize that Albert Einstein says that if you do the same thing twice, you'll never learn from it. You understand? So make sure you're doing something once that is positive only. You understand? So make sure that you're doing the positive aspects of life, because that way you'll learn and grow. I never need you to keep repeating the same mistakes. You need to learn and learn and learn. You have to learn and grow. You have to learn and make sure that you're doing something foundational in your life to say, I have a dream. You understand? I have a dream. You understand? Because I. You understand? I have a dream. Because guess what? I is something that you have to learn how to love much more. You understand? You have to learn I intense, which is the I. I love you. You need that more in your life. You need to understand, you increase it much more. You'll be a positive person about it. You'll be someone great. You'll be someone who can make it much better for yourself the most. You understand? Because you are the most important. You have to understand, you lift people from it. Anyway, you have to understand, you're lifting yourself and others. You just lift yourself more than others. You understand? You have to understand, when you're lifting others, you'll lift yourself anyway. You just be that person who can lift. You learn the skills you can right now to you learn the skills you can right now to make sure that you rectify a better way. You understand? You rectify a better way, and that way you understand what better is. You understand? You have to understand that those people who are really foundational in their speaking and what they're doing are the ones who have a better attitude than the rest. Because when you understand a public speaker who can speak, you understand a great attitude. I understand that attitude is what you're selling. I promise you, the attitude that you're selling is for free. You understand? Because you're giving the attitude. I promise you, the attitude is what you're giving. I promise you, the attitude is everything. understand? I promise you, when you around drug addicts, I promise you they never speak like me. Understand? So be around positive people who can speak much greater, because those people will lead. I promise you, those people are upbeat. You can look at Les Brown. I promise you, Les Brown is so passionate in his younger years. I promise you, now I don't know what happened, although you understand that you make sure that you study upon it. You have to understand that you need to be a person who's really doing much better than obese people. You understand? So never be obese. You understand? I never need you to be overweight. I never need you to be lanky only. I need you to be a person who's really muscular in a way that you're a woman or a man. I don't care who you are. I realize that you just be someone better. You need muscle. I never need you fat. I never need you to be a person who's ugly. I need you to understand that you say, I love myself every day. I need you to understand and say, I'm in love with myself. I'm in love with my world. You understand? Because my world is everything in my life. You understand? Because you need to say that also. You need to understand your life is everything in your life. And I promise you that you will promote yourself more than anybody else will. You understand? I promise you that the crowd will never get you there. You have to go walk alone, and you have to make sure you're never in misery, and you just grow. You grow, and you grow to 100 years of age. And you deserve it. You understand? You deserve something better in your life. You deserve to live this life much more. You understand? I promise you, as long as you're here, you can do something much greater. You can always do something much greater when you live life much greater. You live in a way that you understand that no matter what happens, you're a person who loves life. You have to love life, because that way you'll have more enthusiasm, you'll be a greater person. You understand that life is to be lived now, and when you live now, you will be courageous. You'll be foundational in what you're saying. You'll understand you're living your talk. You live your talk because you're worth it. You're worth to understand your life is worthy. You have to understand you're worthy, because self-esteem is worth it. You have to understand self-esteem is self-realness. You understand? You have to be selfish. You have to be selfless. You understand? You be selfless and selfish in a growing manner. I promise you that you'll grow. I promise you you'll do something amazing. You understand? So be that type of person who can grow. I realize that each and every time I speak in my communication skills, I have to give you a new idea each and every time. I promise you that it's discomfort. I promise you I love it. I love to discomfort myself. I love to be in discomfort, because my comfort zone is my discomfort zone. You understand? So no matter what, be that type of person who can be in front of a crowd and change your communication each and every time, because that's changing approach, as Tony Robbins says. You understand? I promise you, when you change approach, you're adapting quickly. I mean, you're really speed. I realize that's business. I realize you need to be quick. You need to be quick to the touch. You need to be quick to everything. You understand? You have to be quick. You have to adapt quickly. You have to be that quick person who can understand you're ahead of the crowd. You're the innovator. You're doing something amazing. You're just really quick. You're just really quick. Your agility. You have something really great. You have to understand. You have athleticism. You have to understand athleticism is agility. You have to understand that quick mindset and quick speaking and quick vocabulary is going to get you there. You understand? You go there. You go that way. You go the world of vocabulary. You understand? You go to the world of localities, and you're precise better. You're precise in a better manner every single day. You understand? Because that's going to help you to public speak every single day. Because when you public speak, you're going to understand. You pronounce it better. You pronounce it better, and you just make sure you're enthusiast. You just make sure you're enthusiast in a way that you understand that to be an enthusiast is to be charismatic. You understand? You just be a charismatic person who is either something greater, and that's it. I just need you something greater. You understand? Because that's the best way. You understand? I promise you the best way is the best way in what you can do today to understand that it's what works that matters. You understand? I promise you go do what works. I promise you that's the best way. I promise you the free way is the best way. I promise you what's for free is freely given. I promise you that's the best. I promise you this is for free. I promise you this is the best. I never ask for money from you. You have to understand, I never expect anything in return. I realize that no matter what, you just go promote yourself. You go do your videos. You go do something amazing. I promise you, you're worth it. You can do it. You just go and do something incredible. I'm not cold. I never have to be cold. You have to understand, when it's cold, you say, I'm not cold. I promise you, that way you never catch a sickness. I promise you, when you're lifting others, you will be lifted. And that way you're given. You're a given person who can understand something greater. You're understanding something of understanding in terms of life. You understand? You're understanding greatness. You're understanding really something beyond incredible. You have to understand that understand means understand right now. You have to understand, you stay curious about life. You stay something much more. You say something even greater. You have to understand that those people who never believe in you, I promise you that they never care about you. You have to understand that you go and lift anyway. You go be a person who loves yourself more. You have to understand you deserve it. You deserve your passion more than anybody in life. I love my passion more than women in life. I love my passion more than men. I love my passion more than God. You understand? I love my passion in life. You understand? I love my passion. I just need my passion in life. You understand? I never care about anything except for my passion, which is growth. I just love to grow anyway. You understand? I promise you, I have all the love in the world in my passion. because that's what a passionate person does. I promise you, a passionate person will just give it to you because I love my passion. You have to understand, you love your passion too. You be that type of person who can love your passion because your passion is everything. You have to need more. You have to understand, to need more is to understand greatness. You have to understand, you be a person who's great. You understand? Because that way you'll grow. You'll grow into a better person. You'll do something amazing. You'll understand, you'll promote yourself anyway. You promote yourself and then you'll see the results and then you understand what other people will never understand. You understand? You go and fail more and more. You understand? You learn more and more. You learn more and more only and you'll never fail. You'll never fail. You just go and learn more. I promise you, you'll be where other people will never be. I promise you, you learn level 500. I promise you that is the greatest aspect of life where you can learn more. You understand? You learn more than everybody else. You just keep learning. You break 500. You just break Forbes 500. You just learn more than that. You understand? You learn more than everything in life. You go be a person who can do that. You be that type of person who can really lift and inspire others because you learn how to love it every single day. I promise you, that's how to love it. You learn to love yourself greater. You understand? You learn to love yourself much greater than yesterday because you deserve it. You deserve something greater. You understand? You deserve to really understand that living life is freedom. You understand? Because those people who live in freedom are the ones who can communicate their words. I promise you need to communicate your words daily. You need to do it daily. You need to realize that it's really about life. You understand? Because life is to be lived now. I promise you that many people love entertainment. I see people, for example, they go around, people who love the circus and all of that, and they do on the street and beatbox. I promise you they have more of a crowd than me. You understand? Because it's entertainment. I promise you they love negativity. I promise you the person's teaching them nothing. You understand? When I teach, I promise you I've got no crowd around me because I'm teaching something of inspiration. You understand? Because guess what? I'm inspiration. I promise you, when it's a beatbox, I promise you when somebody's beatboxing here, I promise you they're around him. Because I promise you that beatbox guy is not teaching them anything. You understand? I realize that guy's going, I don't know what that is, bro. I don't know, bro. You have to understand that it's passion, although you understand that the person's not teaching anything. You understand? You be around people who's teaching something. You understand? I'll be around Jesus right now. You understand? You go around those people teaching something. You understand? Because you deserve it. You deserve to live life. You deserve to be free. You deserve to have something amazing. You deserve to really understand that you are not gangster. You understand? You're something greater than a gangster. You understand? You're never a lad. You're never a land. You're never a person who's going to the land, which is the net cafe. I never need you to the net cafe. I need you somewhere greater. I need you somewhere greater in life. You understand? You're never a person who just has to go to the net cafe every single day. I never need you to play games. I need you to understand you're better than games in life. I need you to understand it's never about remote controlled games and Xbox and PS2. You understand? I need you to understand you do something greater than that. I never need you around Nintendo. You understand? I need you to do better than that. I need you to understand you go create some content that's really going to help people. I promise you that's branding yourself. I promise you when you're branding yourself, you'll understand greater. You'll learn to do your passion every single day. You'll learn what it means to really succeed. You'll learn what it means that when you're doing your work, you do it on the street. You understand? Because you show up for it every single day. I mean, you do it 3 hours every single day. I mean, you may be a person who's doing it for 1 hour every single day. I promise you, no matter what you see, I'm doing it 3 hours. You have to understand that you may be a person who's saying, I have no time. I always have time. You understand? You have to understand that I'm better than the words I say. You have to understand, you go and be a person who can do it longer than me because you have to have a passion. You need to realize that each time I'm in front of a crowd for 3 hours every day, I promise you I'm better than you when you are doing it for 1 hour. You understand? So make sure you're putting in the practice. I mean, 10,000 hours of practice is going to make you better than that. You understand? So no matter what, just be a person who can do it more and more throughout life. And you be that person who can speak better and do better and feel better. I promise you, you're going to be more worth it. You're going to do something incredible. You're going to realize it's really worth it to really understand that you're free. Your freedom when you're... I realize you're free when you have freedom of speech. So I realize that you be a type of person who has freedom of speech. I realize that you understand that greatness is now, and those people who are great understand are going to really lead. You have to really lead in life. You have to be that person who can lead. You have to understand that when you're great, you'll be rejected. And guess what? You just never reject yourself because that way you can speak, you can understand that content is king and queen. You understand? You be that person who has content in life that is positive only. You need that type of content in life so that you can understand that it's really about growing yourself. You have to understand it's about being a person who can grow. You're growing yourself and you're pushing through with your words to make sure that no matter what, you speak every single word much better and never correctly. I'm never speaking correctly. I'm never speaking right. I'm never speaking wrong. I'm just speaking better than this. I'm speaking every time in a way that is better for me to speak with. Because each and every time you rotate those words and vocabularies that you have, you'll always learn to love it much greater. You'll learn how to really love and lift people. Because communication is always... you have to speak in a better way. In a sense, so speak and live in a better way, because that's how to live life. In a sense, I promise you, each and every person lives differently, although we all have to do better. In a sense, so make sure you understand that you have to go the better way. In a sense, because the better way is the longer way. In a sense, you go the longer way. You never go the short way, because short way means short gratification, and you're always you're always a person of gratification. I never need you that. I never need you to be that person. I need you to be a person who has delayed gratification. I need you to understand it's never about short-term gratification. I need you to understand it's about long-term gratification. Understand? I mean, you have to understand it's about delaying gratification long-term. I never need you to have gratification long-term. I need you to understand it's about delayed gratification long-term. I need you to understand that the marshmallow test states that those people who gratify themselves first before delaying are the less successful ones. You understand? Because when you delay, you'll be more successful. You just be that person who has no pleasures in life. I never need you to have pleasure in life, because pleasure is less discipline. I need you to understand the more discipline you have, the less pleasure you have in life. I promise you that is growth. I promise you that's your discomfort zone. I promise you that's you expanding your comfort zone, because to expand your comfort zone is to be better than yesterday, and to make sure that you're worthy, and to make sure that you're confident, and to make sure that no matter what, you're always lifting, and that's how you love it in life. I promise you, when you're loving it, you'll understand that greatness is in you. You understand that greatness is now. You understand that you just go and promote yourself anyway, because you're worth it. You need more worthiness in your life. You need something much greater. You need to understand that to be a freakzilla in life, you have to understand to learn what that is first. You understand? You have to understand. You go be a freakzilla in information. You go be a freakzilla in your passion. You go and realize that when you judge by other people, you have to understand they've got no communication skills. You never judge other people for what they say. You never judge other people for what they do. You just lift them. I promise you that's no judgment. I promise you no judgment means lifting. In a sense, so be that type of person who's lifting people, and that way you will never be a judgmental person, because a judgmental person never lifts. I need you to be around charismatic people who are never sarcastic. In a sense, because sarcasm never lifts you. I never need you to be around those people. I need you to be around people who are growing you and lifting you and always inspiring you to do something. You need to realize you be around those people, because anything that's not this moment is the ego. You have to understand, the ego cannot last in this moment. You have to understand, you have an ego right now. You have to overcome it. You have to conquer your mind. You have to understand that is the best way. You have to understand the best way is right now. You have to understand that whatever you're saying, you actually always keep going. You keep going. You believe in yourself. You make sure that no matter what, you're always a person growing, and you learn to love it. You learn to love it, because guess what? Even when you suffer rejection, you just never reject yourself, because that's called self-love. You understand? You self-love yourself every day, because that's called self-awareness. I promise you, I need you to be self-aware in life. I need you to understand you be self-aware in a way. You understand you're always looking at yourself more and more, and you're never giving other people attention, although you understand you give yourself the attention that you deserve even more so than other people. I promise you that way you will learn to love yourself even more. You learn that no matter what, when you're inspired by somebody, I promise you be a student of that person, because that person is going to teach you how to think. I promise you that person is going to teach you how to inspire. Understand? So make sure that you give people a chance. You give people a chance to succeed. Understand? You give people a chance more and more, because you were given a chance to live this life. You'll understand that no matter what, you go and give chances. You go and give opportunities. Understand? Because that way, when you give opportunities, you'll have one better opportunity in your life. Understand? You go and give better opportunities in life. You go and be that person who can really strike up controversy in a way that you're never arguing, although you understand you're just lifting. I promise you this is controversy right here, because guess what? I'm public speaking in a better way. I'm doing it better than yesterday. Understand? Because that's the whole point of life. I mean, that's the meaning of life. I mean, that's passion. I mean, that's growth. I mean, that's something that you need. You need something unique in life. I promise you that uniqueness is you. You have to understand you are the unique person that you need to be right now, and there's only one of you in the planet. Makes sense? So make sure you understand that you grace yourself every day, and be loving of yourself, and be loving with yourself. I realize that you never do anything to yourself, and you never do it for yourself. You do it for something greater. Understand? Because that way you'll learn to love it. You'll learn to love something greater that way. You have to understand, when you believe in something greater, you'll also be greater. You'll also be lifted. You'll also be a confident person who can speak and do everything that you ever need to do in your life, and you never care about other people. You're just growing. You understand? You're growing and lifting other people in the same process. You have to understand that nobody else is going to make your life for you. You have to understand that only you can do that. You understand? I promise you that you be a person just lifting the crowd. I promise you that way you'll be lifted. You understand? Because you care about yourself the most. I never need you to care about other people the most while you neglect yourself. I promise you many people are the other way around. You have to understand? You be the one who is really growing. You understand? You be the one who is growing, and never the one who is lifting other people while you're dying. I never need you to die. I need you to grow. You have to understand, when you're growing, you're dying too. You understand? Because to grow is to die. I need you to understand, when you're dying, you're never growing, bro. You understand? I need you to understand, when you're growing, you're dying to the past. And I need you to die to the past each and every day. I need you to understand that Eckhart Tolle teaches this, and Eckhart Tolle teaches that you die to the past in every second, because guess what? You have to become a new person each and every single day. You need to do something new every single day. You have to understand that you just go and be appropriate much more and more. And you have to understand it's about no rudeness in life. You never need to be rude. I need you to be a person of high caliber. And you should understand that high caliber means I realize that high caliber means no mediocrity. You understand? So be that kind of person who has a bit of vocabulary in a way that you understand that vocabularies mean that you can speak. And the more you speak, I promise you, the more vocabularies you have. So be that type of person who understands that when you're doing something amazing in terms of communication, you're just lifting the crowd in wisdom. I promise you, the wisdom in you can set you free. When you understand you have wisdom, you go and teach it. You go teach your wisdom. I promise you have wisdom because you're living today. You understand? I promise you can do it for free. I promise you never have to charge for it because Jesus never did. You understand? So make sure you understand. You go and repeat all your positive affirmations in daily life and go and look at Jesus and say, how will Jesus live today? You understand? Because that is your guideline. I promise you that is the basic principle. I promise you the principle is now. I promise you, you go and follow Jesus. You have to understand, you follow something greater than you. You understand? Because that way you'll be greater. I promise you, you'll be a student of everything in life. You understand? You leave room for improvement because that's how you're going to learn to love it. I promise you, that's how you love it. You love life. You love something greater than you. You love something to understand that there is a better world from this point. You understand? Because that way you're positive about it. You're optimistic. You understand? You're a person who's never a pessimist. You're a person who's really, let's say, never perverse. You understand? Because you're a person who's really growing. You understand? You have to grow. You have to understand that you be a person who's never a pedophile either. You understand? Be a person who's really growing. You understand? That way, you understand positivity is right now. You have to understand you be a positive person. You understand that you're a person lifting. You understand? Because you're growing yourself. You need to grow yourself. You're focusing on yourself. You focus on your self-love. You have it. Your greatness, and you are that right now. You understand? So no matter what, you be that type of person all the time. You are it in the moment. You understand? Because the moment has everything you ever need. You understand? Because the moment shall set you free. You have to understand there is no ego in this moment. You be in the moment, and that way you'll be a sober person. I promise you, those people who are escaping this moment are the ones who are making excuses and blaming people and complaining. You never do that. You understand? Because that's how you love it. You understand? You love it in a better way. You have to learn how to love. You have to learn how to do better. You have to learn everything. I promise you, learning is everything. I promise you, learning is foundational. I promise you, learning is the criteria that you understand that you need to learn how you learn in order to learn faster. You have to learn much greater than you are today. You understand? Because guess what? That way, you have to understand that no matter what, you're always becoming better. You understand? You become a better person because when you're funny, you also laugh with people. You understand? You'll laugh with people and you'll be a smartass about it. You understand? Because when you're entertaining the crowd, you may have positive people around you, although you understand that you need to grow in your entertainment of what you're doing, because guess what? When you're having fun, you grow while you're having fun. I promise you, most people are having fun and don't know how to grow. I don't know how to grow, but guess what? I'm growing anyway. You understand? I'm growing in front of people. I promise you, I know nothing. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm just a person teaching. You understand? I'm a person teaching. I'm teaching my vocabularies and who I am. You understand? Because guess what? It's about attitude. You have to understand that when you have a better attitude, you have to understand that it's all you're selling in life. I promise you. It's just your attitude. You understand? Because when you have a better attitude, you'll be understood better. I promise you, when people take 50 million years to understand your language, I promise you, then you have a problem. I promise you, you need to better yourself and find the solutions to your problems. You understand? That way you understand that I have no problems in life because guess what? People understand me. I'm always easily understood because I practice and practice and practice. The same way Djokovic hits the tennis ball 50 million times, I practice with my 50 million words every single day. You understand? You have to understand, I do more than 50 million. You understand? I do more than numbers in life. I'm always more than every single number. You understand? I never label myself in this world. Because to get that, I promise you, when you label yourself, you have an ego mind. You never label yourself. You label yourself something greater than who you are. You can never describe yourself. I promise you, that's the best way. You understand? You never label anything in the world. You understand? You label something greater that is never labeling. You understand? You just make sure that you make something greater in yourself. You understand? You make something that's really going to help you move forward. You understand that labeling is to make sure that you understand to boost your vocabulary skills. In a way, you're learning, you're growing your skills, you're making sure no matter what, you have a sharp mind, you understand? Because that way you're going to understand what a sharp mind in vitality of growth nature is. You understand? Because you're connecting the dots, you're making sure you're bouncing up, because you're never bouncing down. You have to understand that down people are depressed. You have to understand that no matter what, you have to lift them. You have to lift your parents, you have to lift your family, you have to lift the people around you, because nobody else will. You understand? So realize you go and do you much better because that's how to love it. You understand? You learn how to love it every single day in a better way. You understand? You go and do something foundational today that's going to really help you. You deserve it. You deserve success. You deserve something that's really great. You deserve to do your work every single day. You show up for it. You show up for your work. You make sure no matter what, you go to the toilet before you even give a public speaking seminar. And that way, you understand that you have a better way. You always have no breaks in life. I have no breaks in life. I'm always working. I'm always working. I promise you that my eating is work. Understand? I have to eat better too. I have to make sure I find better food. I have to experience something new every single day. I have to live my life in a new fashion all the time. I have to be in fashion all the time. Understand? Because that's a greater life. I learned to love it that way. Understand? Because that's how to love it. You have to learn to love it greater than you are. Understand? You have to do something greater. You have to watch greater. You have to look greater. You have to see greater. Understand? You only make sure that you're only more wise in life. You're doing something more wise every day. You're making sure that you accomplish your goals and make sure that you accomplish your vision every day. I promise you accomplish your vision every single day because the vision is that you'll be better than yesterday. Understand? I promise you when you're better than yesterday, you'll understand what greatness is. You understand what to intrude on others is really that you understand that you never intrude on others. Understand? You never intrude on others. You let them exert you in terms of power. You understand? Because guess what you do then? You just allow it. You just allow them to exert power and control over you. Understand? Because guess what? That means something greater than you is happening. Understand? So be that type of person who understands that no matter what, when other people are controlling you and trying to exert control over you, you make sure that you allow it. Understand? You allow that because to allow something is to realize that you're more powerful than that person. Understand? You're more powerful than the people who are trying to control you. Understand? You never control people because that way you understand that you're learning to love better. I promise you when you try to control people, you're a person who is conditional. I never need you to be conditional. I need you to be unconditional. I need you to be a person who can grow. I need you to be a person who's really giving all the love in the world that they have. I realize that no matter what, you deserve everything in life when you're doing better than yesterday. You have to understand that the world is never against you. You have to understand that you just never be against yourself. Otherwise, the world will be against you. Understand? I promise you when you are harming yourself, I promise you other people will harm you. Understand? I promise you never harm yourself. Understand? I promise you I never need you to be suicidal. I need you to understand that no matter what you be, I promise you need to be an encouraging person. You have to understand if you're suicidal and depressed today, you have to understand that you go and lift people, and that way you understand you'll be lifted from depression and suicide. Understand? You be an encouraging person because that way you will set yourself free in a way in freedom. Understand? You'll be a person who can lift others. You'll be a person who understands that lifting others is grace, and to do so is a leader. You understand? Because those people in leadership are the ones who are leading. I promise you those people in leadership are the ones public speaking. I promise you the ones who are leadership are the ones doing a street performance and lifting. You understand? Because that's the whole point. You need to do that every single day. You need to do that for yourself in something greater. You have to understand that most people will look at you. You have to understand that you just grow in the process. You understand? You grow with them. You understand? Because guess what? It's about growth and never dying. You have to understand it's never about kicking people down. You have to understand it's about lifting people. You understand? You do something greater than yesterday, I promise you it's worth it. I promise you it's worth to accomplish your goals. I promise you my only vision in life is be better than yesterday. I promise you my only vision in life is do something today that's greater than yesterday. I promise you that no matter what, I have day 4 today, and guess what? I realize that no matter what, I've been in front of a crowd for 11 hours, I realize that no matter what, you can do it too. You understand? You'll be a person who, over the next 73 years, you're on the street every single day for 3 hours public speaking. I promise you have a crowd. I promise you have a legacy. I promise you do something amazing. You'll be that type of person who realizes that no matter what happens, you're always never around the junkies. You understand? You're never around junkie people because guess what? They'll never lift you. You understand? I promise you they'll make you homeless. You understand? I never need you to be homeless. I never need you to be around people who do drugs because guess what? When you give them money as well, I promise you they use it for drugs. You understand? Why would you give them money? You just give them some self-education. You understand? Because guess what? They have to lift themselves. You understand? You have to be that type of person. You have to realize that when you have something to give, you give your wisdom only. I realize that the present is you. I realize the present is your time. I realize when you give time, I realize that's more than enough. You understand? I realize that you give your time and you lift. I realize you give your wisdom. I promise you that's the best present in the world. You be that type of person who can give ideas and you speak ideas all day long. I realize when you come to the table, you bring ideas. You understand? You bring ideas to the table. I mean, you brainstorm every single day. You brainstorm You brainstorm on how to better your life. Because I do that every single day. I make sure I plan 30,000 words every single day on how I can succeed every single day. You understand? I make sure I talk about myself. I make sure I have a story. I make sure I have something to do every single day. I promise you those people are inspired by me. I will check out my Instagram. You understand? Because guess what? If they don't, I promise you they'll never be inspirational. You understand? I promise you that no matter what, you be a person who's really much better than yesterday. Understand? You be a person who can succeed every single day. Understand? Because you deserve it. You deserve something greater. Understand? I promise you, no matter what, you deserve success. So make sure that you say, I'm successful. You say I'm successful because guess what? You are. You are successful when you believe it. You have to understand that your belief is everything, and your belief is your habits today. And you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. So make sure you surround yourself with better 5 people. Understand? You be a person who can surround yourself with a better crowd because guess what? The crowd is 1%, and the 1% of people will only lead the crowd. Understand? You be with those people. You be with the 1% of the crowd that is really teaching something. I realize that most people don't teach nothing. Understand? Because guess what? They're working a 9-to-5 job. Understand? They're teaching nothing. You go around the people who have no 9-to-5 job because they'll teach you how to never have a 9-to-5 job. You understand? You have to be a person who is an entrepreneur. You have to be a person who's problem solving. You have to do something that's a problem solving ability, which is you. You have the time and space right now. I promise you, you have 24 hours like everybody else. You have to understand that when somebody's succeeding more than you, I promise you, somebody is doing something better and different than you. Understand? So you have to realize to go do something better and realize that no matter what, that you never shun yourself either. Understand? You go and do what someone who is better than you in something is doing and you learn from them. Understand? I realize that when other people have more success than you, you never turn egotistical. You understand? You learn from them and you say, I'm grateful for this person for being so successful. Understand? Because guess what? That way you will understand to go and have that lifestyle too. You have to understand, when you cannot hack that somebody's more successful, you are more jealous that way. I never need you more jealous. I need you to hack that people have something that you need in life. You then go and learn the skills to do so to make sure that you have it too. Understand? I mean, make sure that you're smart with your money and make sure that you're smart with what your time is in terms of life. You have to understand that your time is everything. You have to understand your time is worth all the money in the world. You have to understand that your time is worth the money that you're working in a 9-to-5 job for. You have to understand that when you're a person who's staying away from 9 to 5, I promise you, when you're a person who's staying away from a 9-to-5 job, you'll learn that your time is more valuable than money. You'll learn that health is more valuable than time. Understand? Because without health, you have no time. Understand? You have to understand, you go and get your time right now. You have to understand that health is everything. You have to understand health over wealth. You understand? You have to understand that people have time now to improve themselves. And you need to do that right now. You need to do something today that's going to improve you. Otherwise, you're going to be a couch potato. You understand? You're going to watch some Netflix today. You understand? You're going to watch some cinema movies during the coronavirus. You have to understand, no matter what, you go and improve people during the coronavirus. You go and improve people and make sure that no matter what, when you're watching too much cinema movies, I promise you'll never be successful. Understand? You be a person who's really limited in terms of anything that's negative. You understand? You never allow negativity in your life. You be a person who's unlimited, only in positivity. I mean, you only spread that. You're only giving those vibes. You're only giving something that's greater than you. Understand? You're giving something greater in you to make sure that somebody else can be inspired. Because that way you inspire other people. You inspire other people when you deserve it. You deserve to inspire right now. You understand? You just have to say, I deserve to inspire, and then you just go on the street and you do it. You understand? I realize it's that simple. You understand? Because guess what? If you cannot do it, that means you're limiting yourself to something. I realize that you have no confidence, or you maybe have no self-esteem, or I realize that no matter what, you just be a person that you are right now, and you have to realize you just say, I'm better than yesterday. I'm always better than the words I say. You have to realize it's about positive affirmations. You have to understand that when you skip a beat, you have to understand I is important. You have to understand I is everything. I realize that those people who have the I have to keep going. You understand? You have to keep living. You have to keep breathing. You have to keep breathing better. You have to keep breathing fully. You breathe fully. You make sure you're in the moment. You make sure that no matter what you're doing something better than yourself. You understand? You do something better than the world. You do something that is foundational in a way that's going to grow you. You understand? Because that way you understand that whatever I just said is I matter. You understand? I is everything. You understand? Because I will get you there. You understand? I will get you there. You understand? When you say I love you, I means I love you. You understand? Because I get you there. You understand? I promise you, those people understand I are never causing friction. I promise you, never causing friction in a way that they are fruition. In a way they're giving fruits and vegetables. You understand? I mean, they're the ones who are providing. I mean, you're providing more for the world in terms of something greater only. You're never doing it for the world. You're doing it for something greater than the world. You have to believe in a better world than this. You understand? Because guess what? I never accept you the way you are. I accept a better you only. You understand? I need you to grow with me. I need you to understand when you're growing with me, you are my true friend. I promise you, when you're dying, I promise you that I have to go find someone who grows. I have to find someone who's valuable, because I can never be around dead people. I have to be around upbeat people. I need you to live with me. I need you to understand when you inspire me, you're growing as well. You're giving me some ideas. You're giving me something to improve on. promise you that's valuable. I need to be around those people more and more because you need to also. You have to understand that no matter what, you be understanding that valuable people are the ones where the value is at. And when the value is at, you understand that they will lift you and teach you the skills that's necessary to make sure that you have what it takes to succeed. You have to understand they boost your confidence and they make sure that you understand that if I can do it, you can do it too. You have to understand, you be a person who's using your language in a way, you understand that when other people point you in one direction, you go in a better direction. I promise you that their direction and where they're pointing you is never your direction. I promise you your direction is better than where they're pointing you. You understand? So you go better. You understand? Because the better way is always never the worst way. You go the better way, and that way you'll be healthier. You understand? You'll be healthier because you deserve to be healthy. I never need you obese. I never need you overweight. I need you to be healthy. I need you to be 33% of the world that is healthy. You understand? Because guess what? You never spread negativity. You just be a person who's uplifting. You understand? You be a person who can lead. You be the person who is the 1% of the world who leads the world. You understand? I promise you, only one person who is you can lift the world. You understand? You need to lift the world every single day. You need to understand that I lift the world also. You have to understand that you go and be number one today. You have to understand you be that person who just never discriminates yourself and others. Because to discriminate is to discriminate is to degrade, and to degrade is to never love it. You understand? I mean, those people who discriminate are racist, and also people who are stupid, and they're also people who are right and wrong-minded. I promise you, they're egotistical people. I promise you, those people are lacking so much. I promise you, they're never growing. I need you to be around the people who are never going to prison. You understand? Because those people who understand that the foundation of life is to grow, I promise you, those people will always live. I promise you, those people will always have what it takes. I promise you, those people will learn how to love it much better. I promise you, although that you guys have this 1 hour video now, I realize that no matter what, I'll move on to a new topic. I realize that no matter what, you guys got me in the next video. You can find my Instagram over here at Danny Milivojevic. You understand? Because guess what? Those people who promote themselves, I promise you, they will succeed when they promote themselves. You understand? I'll see you guys in the next video.